Unless you're new to whiskey content, you've probably seen the "you only need 5 bottles" that started on Reddit literally years ago. And even though I've made my own, I clearly am a whiskey collector. So I devised a challenge that is every whiskey collection needs these 5 bottles. Stay tuned after the break and we're going to talk about it. So if you want to check out I think we've done 2 now actually. Above here will be the "you only need 5 bottles" challenges. And the basic premise is you only need 5 of a category of bottles, not like you only need these 5 specific bottles. And we're not talking about 5 specific bottles every whiskey collection needs, because I think it's more conceptual than anything else. There are different tastes. So the things that I like aren't going to be the things that you like, but it is a hotly contested thing. I think for the reason that we all have, I think, too many bottles. Every one of us in our heads thinks that we have too many bottles. I honestly like collecting. I like the thrill of the hunt. I like finding things for the first time, and I'm not the kind of person that doesn't open things. Almost everything that I buy, I open right away, unless it's special for some reason. Then I might wait for a nearby special occasion. For the most part, most of what I'm buying, I'm opening, I'm trying, whether it's here on the channel or with friends. It's one or the other usually. So we're going to talk about these 5 categories that I'm designing. You may have more bottles, you may have less bottles, you may have multiple bottles of these categories, and I know for sure that I do. These are the 5 essentials, like they always talk about the 5 essentials in jewelry. I have no idea what they are. These are the 5 essentials to your whiskey collection, whether it's Scotch, bourbon, rye, whatever you're into, you need these 5 types of bottles. First and foremost, you need the cheap and versatile one. So this bottle is $30. It's pretty available. Versatile in that you don't mind sipping it, but you don't mind putting it in a cocktail. And if your friends come over and crush it, that's fine. You're not worried about it because you can get another. So things that I'm thinking of are along the lines of like Wild Turkey 101, Cooper's Craft 100, Early Times Bottled and Bond, Old Forester 100, Knob Creek 9, Old Grandad Bonded. With each of these categories, I'm going to select my pick for each of these. So for my cheap and versatile one, go on JTS Brown. Heaven Hill, bonded, 100 proof. It has a lot of versatility and flavor. It's a great sipper. It's sub $20 and it's not bad. So this is my selection for the cheap and versatile one. Moving on to the next category. The next category is the rough day one. So this is the bottle you pour when it's been a crazy week and it's only Monday. It requires zero thought. It's cheap, it's high proof, and it's not going to blow out your palate if you want to crush one pretty quickly. Thinking like Wild Turkey Rare Breed, Old Forester 1920, Old Grandad 114, Knob Creek Single Barrel, 9-year picks, like Pikesville Rye, perhaps. I guess cheap is kind of relative here. I'm thinking like the 60 and under, roughly. I know everybody's version of whiskey pricing is different. I would consider 30 and under to be ultra cheap. I would consider 60-ish to be decently cheap. Not too expensive is what I'm saying. It's not an $80 bottle. If you crush it, it's not gonna break your whiskey budget kind of thing. So for me, I decided that Wheel Horse single barrels is going to be my thing. I haven't seen these a lot of places, so you could sub these for Blue Note picks, although I talk about Blue Note all the time. I was trying to, on this list, lean away from the things that I talk about every time, because when I make a new list, I don't want to just have the same Cooper's Craft 100, Early Times Bottled and Bond, Maker's Mark 46 Cask Strength, Maker's Mark Cask Strength. I say those a lot. Those are great bottles. I talk about them enough. I don't need to talk about them in every single video. This could be a Green River. I just recently got a Green River single barrel. That's 119 proof. They're full proof. But this one is Green River sourced. I think it was sub $50. It is 117.58.8, so I can do math. It's fine. 117.6 proof. If I'm pouring something and I'm just trying to forget about the Monday, I can think of no more perfect bourbon than this Wheel Horse single barrel, or really anything high proof from Green River. I love it so much. So that is the rough day one. The next category is the craft one. So I think I, for a long time, have been more leaning towards legacy distilleries, because if I'm going to spend my money, my hard-earned money, I want it to be on something that's good. And generally for a lower price, I have more consistent efforts with legacy distilleries than I do with craft distilleries. And craft distilleries tend to have a craft tax, a percentage higher than a similar bottle from a legacy distillery would be. However, I think there are some really great craft whiskey distilleries out there that are doing great products that deserve your money and are doing things the right way. So I think that every collection needs to have a craft bottle that you like. Somewhere out there, there is a craft distillery doing great stuff that you might enjoy. Talking about like Redwood Empire, Frey Ranch, 13th Colony, Starlight. Some of those are sourced. Some of them are a little sketchy. I know in the case of 13th Colony, they are not very transparent. We're going to see a straight bourbon out of them, I think, here soon if the TTB labels are to be believed. So there's at least a little bit more transparency there. Excited to see that, but I think that the stuff that I've had from 13th Colony so far has been very tasty, and I know enough about it that I'm not worried about it being artificially flavored or anything like that. So for my pick for the craft one, I almost said them earlier because they are still on my sheet. This is Holiday. This is the Rickhouse Proof. I know I made fun of this in my one video. Rickhouse Proof is not a regulated term, and I do not love that, but I love the product that's in this bottle. Very tasty. They tell you when it was distilled, when it was bottled. So this is a 6-year-old bourbon, 120.1 proof. And they show you the breakdown of what floor it came out of in Warehouse C. So that's pretty cool. Wish it was called barrel proof so that it is at least a regulated term. But marketing these days does crazy things, and it just is what it is. As far as craft, I think it's fantastic. I have had their Bottle and Bond series, and they are a little bit lacking in flavor to me, but their Rickhouse Proof series has been fantastic. I've had both the red wheat, I forget what it's called, it's like Harvest Red Wheat or something like that. And then this is just the straight bourbon. They also have a Cave series that come in adorable little glass bottles that are shaped like whiskey jugs. I think they're 375s or 200 milliliters or something like that. I've only seen pictures, not gotten to try one in person, and they're coming out with single barrels, and they're exploding onto the market, and I'm here for it. Even though I don't necessarily like the way they label things, I like them as a brand, so that's the craft one. The next bottle is something that I think that everybody needs to have, although I'm pretty sure this is going to be the most controversial one. It is the unicorn one. So I think every collection of whiskey needs a gem, needs a centerpiece, needs a bottle that you are excited that you got to pick up. So this is the bottle that you got lucky with. It's the one that you can't believe that you found. Maybe you overpaid for it. Look, there's no judgment here. There might be in the comments. I have overpaid for bottles. I freely admit it. There are ones that I am excited to have, and generally I am willing to pay a little bit over MSRP for something that I've never had before that I think that I will enjoy. So as far as unicorns, they can be anything. In reality, this doesn't need to be a Pappy. It doesn't need to be a President's Choice. It doesn't need to be a King of Kentucky. It doesn't need to be any of these ultra limited edition whiskeys. It's just the one that you are excited about having because it is rare. It could be Blanton's. No judgment on Blanton's. For me, this is going to be a little surprising considering I have called this a tasting note of E&J's Grape Brandy before on a live stream as a blind. This one is one that I was actually surprised with. A good friend of mine who owns a liquor store, I was shopping at the store, and he just pops out of the back and puts it in my cart. Obviously, very shocked, very surprised. It was super cool. It will be opened at some point. I just need to have a sufficiently special occasion to do so. Because of the circumstances that it was given to me, I want it to be special and mean something. This is my unicorn bottle. I do have some other bottles that I really enjoy. None of them have as cool stories as this does. Moving on to the final, and kind of taking some of those elements and shifting them slightly. The last one is the memory making one. Now, this one was actually helped to kind of conceptualize by my friend Sherry, who is of Bourbon Besties. Their channel is live. I will link that in the comments. They're putting out videos here very soon, so check them out. She kind of brought this concept into it, and I love it because, you know, when you're in whiskey and you're an enthusiast, some of the best times aren't drinking the good whiskeys. The best times are the memories that you make out of it. And sometimes that's drinking your worst whiskeys. Sometimes that's when you introduce your friends to Wild Turkey 101. Any whiskey here can be the memory making one, but I think we all at least have some bottle that is tied to a memory in some way, shape, or form, like I was just talking about the Lot B. So this bottle can literally be anything. It could be Wild Turkey 101 that you shared with your dad before he passed. The Buffalo Trace that you got when you met Freddie Johnson for the first time. It could be the Pappy 15 that you waited all night for with your family. They don't have to be special editions. They don't have to be expensive. It can be literally anything. So to me, the Making Memories bottle is Blanton's, and it's not just any Blanton's, it is this specific Blanton. Gentleman and Whiskey, the tasting group, before Gentleman and Whiskey, the YouTube channel, started, we had a tradition of big events in our lives. We would drink from this bottle and we would sign our names to it. So if you can see on the bottle itself, there are names. This bottle has been in all of the important moments in Gentleman and Whiskey, the tasting group. So this bottle has a lot of memories with some of the people that impact me the most. So I am super grateful for this. I don't love Blanton's. I think it's a great product at 65 bucks, but this bottle will forever be special to me. I would love to hear what some of your picks for these are. I would love to see what you guys think. Drop a comment below. So with this being a challenge, I want to start. I'm putting Bourbon of the Week and Bourbon Bill on notice. You guys are next. I want to see what you guys would pick for some of these categories. Tag other people. Keep this running. I think it'll be a cool way to see the collections. I think it'll be cool to see the way that people think about building their collections and what they would put in these slots. So Chris and Bill, if you guys decide to take up the challenge, drop your links in the comments so people can easily find them. If you guys have any content ideas, I'd love to hear them. I would love to have you drop those in the comments and we'll see what we can do. If you like this content, check out our other videos. Please like and comment on this video and subscribe if you haven't already. Helps us out a ton. And we hope you'll join us in drinking like a gentleman. Cheers. Okay. Ooh, that was right into the microphone, and I'm sure that sounded great.